All right. We're going to start with some 3D drawings. So before we get into 3D shapes, it can really help to just be able to understand drawings and create them yourself, to know what's going on. So in 3D drawings, by default, there's really only three directions that we draw, especially when everything's rectangular, triangular. Those three directions are the vertical, the horizontal, and then we need some third dimension, which really would come orthogonal, perpendicular, straight out, but we draw it kind of skewed to the side. So we draw the third direction like this. So every single thing in basic 3D drawings is in one of those three directions. So for example, if I have a cube, I do two vertical sides, two horizontal sides, and then all of the diagonal sides are all parallel to this one direction. So I'll do this direction, this direction, this direction. So they're all parallel. And then when you decide, well, where does that stop? You just, it can be any length. If it's a cube, it has to match, but we could just put a horizontal here. Okay, again, that's parallel to this top, parallel to this. So there's only horizontal, and we don't slant. That's the common mistake, is people just kind of start slanting to the side. Instead, we go straight vertical. So if we wanted to do a slightly more complicated drawing, we could do something like, here's a front face, that's all horizontal, vertical. Here's a diagonal, and then from there it's horizontal. And then, we go up to here, and then it's horizontal. Again, we don't guess here where this side stops. The only direction we have is vertical, horizontal, or this one slanted direction. So parallel to the other two sides, right? Parallel to this side and this side. We would say, okay, well, we want that side to stop, so it goes like this. And then where do we go down? Well, we go down just vertical. We go vertical. We go vertical. Maybe you don't know the length, so you just go any length vertical. This side is parallel to the other, and it hits this vertical side. Then horizontal until it hits that vertical side, and then parallel to the diagonal. And so everything is only one of those three directions, right? So we have all of these diagonals are perpendicular. We have all of the, let's do it in green. We have all of the horizontal lines are perpendicular, are parallel. And then in, let's go yellow. We have all the vertical lines here are parallel as well. But there's only those three directions, and that makes your drawing so much easier, right? As a beginner, it's way too common that people try and draw a cube, and they're like, okay, front side, that's easy, it's a square. And then all of a sudden, these start coming out in different directions, and there's a slant here, and you're like, that does not look right. So the key is there's three directions, right? Vertical, horizontal, and one diagonal that everything is parallel to, okay? So now we're going to change that, though, a little bit, just for fun, just to get some art in our lives and some practice. Let's do a one-point perspective drawing. So what this is saying is, okay, so now we've still got just three directions, okay? So we've still got the vertical. That's still everything that goes in that direction is 100% vertical, no other. Then we also still have the horizontal. That's totally unchanged. So we've got this horizontal. And then the last one is, instead of having a diagonal, what we have is what's called a vanishing point. So what that means is anything that used to go diagonal now approaches this single point. So if we're over here, this might go this direction. But if we're down here, we still have horizontal and vertical, but the other one goes up. Here we have horizontal and vertical, and the third direction is this way. So no matter where you are, all of these exactly approach this point. And this creates this perspective art where things in back are smaller and things in front are bigger. So let's just do a really quick drawing of this. Let's say we had three squares here. Well, let's just call them rectangles because I'm freehanding them. Okay, and we want to draw the backs of these. So this is essentially a cube from three different perspectives. So let's put our vanishing point right here. Right, so now our diagonals going back from these squares would go towards this, right? So I go, here's the diagonal, and then also this one. So I go, here's the diagonal. and then also this one. So ooh, I missed a little bit, but here's my diagonal. Then again, where do I end it? I don't guess a direction. Our other directions other than that one diagonal to the vanishing point is exactly horizontal, exactly vertical. Okay, we'll do the same thing here. So we've got to the vanishing point. We can't see the ones in the back, but they would be going like this. Okay, and then where do we end it? We end it like this. So here's our cube from the front. We can't see any of the back. And then this other one over here, we go to the vanishing point. My hand's off the iPad here, so this is going to be a little crooked. There we go. And so again, we just go, well, let's stop it. Let's make this one a long, skinny one. So again, it's completely vertical. The optical illusion is when you have this, you want to start slanting it sideways. You want to go exactly vertical. Okay, so here's exactly vertical. Here's exactly horizontal. And then we can just fill this in here, here, and here. And if we wanted to later then erase these extra lines, now we just have our perspective drawing there. Okay, so that's what one-point perspective can do in a simple shape. Now let's make a little scene using this. Now this is much easier to do, in my opinion, with pencil and paper and just a ruler. And that's what I would normally do, but honestly, I just could not figure out how to rig up like my cell phone or something to videotape my hands. So we're doing it on an iPad. Okay, so let's draw. So let's say we start with a blank picture. Okay, I'm going to create like the classic desert scape. So I'm going to say, here's the horizontal, like that's the horizon. The sun's going to disappear, into this. So here's the sun going down in the distance. And I've got this long straight road going there. Okay, so here's my long straight road disappearing into there. Now the yellow marks in the middle of this road have horizontal lines, right? But then they disappear like they're going into the distance. Oh, I can actually make it perfectly straight. Look at that. So again, from here, it would go straight line like that. And then all I have to do is chunk it. So I go, oh, this yellow one was the biggest because it's the closest to me. And then the next one is a little smaller because, whoa, that was too small. Because it's getting a little further away. And actually, if you wanted to, you could actually measure this out and proportionally calculate how tall each one of these should be. Now, we don't need to. We're just sketching just for the sake of learning here. And so we get horizontal, this vanishing point, and this starts to just get smaller and smaller and smaller. And then what you could do is erase your tracer lines there. And then we have a building at the side of the road here. So I'm just going to draw the front of the building. Now I'll tell you, the rectangular ones are easiest, but you could put a little like triangle on top or something like that. Because again, you only have the three directions. So from this corner, I'm going to the vanishing point. From this corner, I'm going to the vanishing point. From this corner to the vanishing point. And then at some point, maybe it's a really long building, I'm going to draw a vertical here. Okay, I'm going to trace this side, I'm going to trace this side. And then what I need is all parallel. I don't guess this direction over here. I just make it exactly parallel. So it goes like, that looks parallel. And then I draw this top. And now I can erase the guiding lines there. Okay, now if I want to put a door on it, again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, well, the top of my door is going to follow this vanishing point. The vertical is going to stay vertical. Okay, vertical, vertical, and I've got that side. A window, same thing. It's going from my vanishing point, maybe like this. And so I go vertical, vertical, and then draw those two. And then again, I can erase those guiding lines. So now I've got like a door and a window in there. What else could I put? Oh, maybe on the right side, some trees or telephone poles or something, okay? So let's say the bottom of these things is right here on this guiding line. The top of those things is on this guiding line, and then they're all vertical, right? So I'm going to draw, here's a vertical, then this distance away is a vertical thing, and then let's say a little bit closer, and then getting closer, and then maybe one more. We just kind of fuzz them off into the distance there. And then, let's see, should they be telephone poles or trees? I'm going to go with trees this time. I usually go with telephone poles. Okay, so here's my tree. Okay, it's kind of like that. That's my tree, and it's got a little trunk. Again, just any old globular thing, and then the tree. And so you just, as long as you add them vertical. Now again, the mistake is people get these vanish shots and then they start tilting the trees outward like that, and trees don't naturally tilt at like 40, 50 degrees. They would just fall over in the wind or under their own weight. Okay, so here's my trees. There we go. And then let's go ahead and erase our vanishing lines there. So now we've got this line of trees there. Let's see, what else should we add to the drawing? Maybe like a mountain range disappearing. Like, I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm not an artist. Okay, let's put a mountain range that starts there, and actually it's up high. It's above the horizon, and that's totally okay also. So, starts out like, here's this big mountain range. Whoa, look at that. And then it comes in and it's smaller. And then here comes like another peak up like that, down, and another one. And here's another one. And we'll I don't know, fill those in with some brown or something. I don't know. Let's go with, some brown. So it looks like, whoa, yeah, these are great looking mountains. This is really beautiful, yeah. Look at these mountains. Have you ever seen such art before? I mean, it's amazing. Yep, those are our amazing mountain ranges there, and then you can erase those guys. That looks so bad. Okay, that's really good. Oh, I don't know what happened there, but those are our mountain ranges. I tried something new. That's okay. But that's the idea of a one-point perspective drawing. Okay. It's just everything in that third direction that would have been diagonal is now going towards the vanishing point. And let's even say like, oh my gosh, out in the middle of this forest, there's also a giant skyscraper here. So look at this gigantic skyscraper. Okay, here's the front of this skyscraper, and then the side of the skyscraper on the bottom goes towards the vanishing point, right? So it goes out like this, but the top of the building would go down because the top is above the horizon, so it would go down like this, and then again you cut it off with a vertical, so we have it looking like that. And then you can put windows in here. On the front, the windows would just be horizontal, vertical, but on the side, the windows would follow your tracing lines, and so we get like, here's a window vertical, here's a window vertical, here's a window vertical, and then you erase all your guiding lines there. And that's what you get. Okay, so that's just like a tease of what first person or 1 point vanishing perspective can do. Let's go down, I grabbed some random examples from the internet. So here's a much more talented artist than me doing everything disappearing to one vanishing point. It's all just hand drawn, right? You can clearly see, whoa, that was not what I meant to do there. You can clearly see that here's the vanishing point, and all these lines, even though the fence goes towards it, the bottom fence goes towards it, right? Like even these trees kind of go towards it. So everything, the straight lines do, and then the freehand art kind of just follows that same perspective. Here's another one, very similar to the one we drew. You see the fence with the two lines going there. The sidewalk, same thing. The trees, everything. Here's even like a bedroom, so close up, you notice all the couches and windows, and even the walls in the corner of the room disappear into the distance. Here's like a more comic Sin City style art, but you notice, right, like all of this stuff, even the like edges here are all going in. These are all going in. So they all are going to this vanishing point in the middle. And I had one more, and here's like a city. So I kind of showed you that the top of a building can go down while the bottom goes up. And again, this follows, right? So you have different height buildings, but they're all going to, wow, I draw terrible straight lines. but they're all going to that one vanishing point. Okay, so first assignment, you create a 1-point perspective drawing. Again, I would strongly recommend pencil and paper. It comes out much better. All right, good luck.